Welcome back to Rarest Photos. I'm wearing my Prank War Champion, which probably looks backwards to y'all, maybe, I don't know. A show called The Jersey Shore, which my wife and I used to watch that all the time. Just kind of a young people kind of messing up and having fun and living their life. And anyways, that's what this shirt is, Prank War Champion. And of course you can see I just got a ball cap on today. My wife and I went down to the Cars and Coffee event that Mike Wolf from American Pickers puts on where I live. And got to see a lot of old classic cars and old Bel Airs and Chevy Malibus and Dodge Challengers and Nash Rambler station wagons, stuff like that. Anyhow, so thanks for joining me and happy Easter Saturday. I didn't get a comment video put out last night. Sorry. I'll try to do one today. But we're going to get some reading done on Elvis in June this morning. So I hope y'all have a wonderful Easter. If you're watching this Easter Sunday, or if you're watching it today, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Yeah. So let's start reading. Chapter 12. Thank you to you subscribers that are brand new. Thank you to existing subscribers. Thanks to those that when you guys give me super thanks, thank you in advance. And thank you to the members that are subscribing. It's $9.99 a month, and I keep telling my members, hey, you know, I appreciate you supporting me every month with that $9.99 donation. Please email me. Please email me and let me know your birthday, what your favorite subject is, favorite movie, favorite song, and I want to do something special for y'all. And y'all don't message me. You guys just support me. So regardless, send me an email, rareelvisphotos@gmail.com. Let's get started. Chapter 12 here, okay? Pat and I arrived at the villa at exactly 10 a.m. Now, Elvis and the boys were sitting in the living room, ready to go. You're not going horseback riding dressed like that, are you, June? Elvis asked, knowing shorts and sandals would not mix well with horses and bridle paths in the woods. No way, Jose. Now, she didn't say the Jose part, I did. No way, I've got other clothes in the car, I said, spinning around and running to the car, where I changed into long pants and loafers. I was ready in a matter of seconds, June said. But we still had to wait for Arthur, who was lingering in the bathroom. Doesn't Arthur Hooten remind you of, oh my gosh, where's my brain at? Lamar Fike. Before Lamar Fike was Lamar Fike. Seems like Arthur Hooten was that character in the party. Kind of the bigger guy, slow, that kind of poked fun of a little bit, good-natured. It had rained during the night, and the road leading to the stables muddy. Our 7 horses were saddled up and ready to ride. Now, Elvis didn't like the idea of having a guide, but unless you knew the correct route, one wrong turn, and the lead horse would make a run back to the stable, with the rest of the horses following. The next time out, our guide promised we could go it alone. Does that sound like someone that doesn't know how to ride horses, that's scared of horses? It does not. This is 1956, long before long before Child Bride claims Priscilla taught Elvis how to ride a horse in 1966. Long enough before Elvis rode in Love Me Tender, and they said he had to be trained to ride a horse. Elvis knew how to ride a horse. He wasn't scared of a horse. At least that's what I'm gathering from June's book from 1956. So when we're talking about Are You Lonesome Tonight, and everybody's saying Elvis couldn't ride a horse in 53 when he was 18. He wouldn't know how to. He wanted to be a cowboy. He loved the Wild West. He loved the Westerns. Why wouldn't he? I rode a horse at 18. You know, and I lived in the middle of the desert in California. But I traded guitar lessons to learn how to saddle a horse, to put the bit in the mouth, and to ride. And we went on a mountain trail ride about 2.5 miles up a mountain, and then got to the top, and I was in a thoroughbred, and then we went racing for 1.5 miles, and that horse took off on me past everybody else. You know, kept my cowboy hat on. I kept trying to pull the reins down left, right to get it to slow down, and that horse wanted to run. Finally, I got it to turn to the left, and it jumped over a fence, skidded up next to a house. That was my first experience on a horse. 3 miles, running for about a half mile of it towards the end, breakneck speed. After that, I've never been scared to ride a horse, you know, but Elvis knew how to ride a horse. We left the stable in single file. Our guide was in front, Elvis was behind him, and I was behind Elvis, and so forth. So, sorry. So our guide was in front, Elvis was behind him, and I was behind Elvis, and so forth and so on down the line. We started off walking, then broke into a little trot, and then a nice canter. The guide's horse was slinging mud in Elvis's face, and Elvis's horse was slinging mud in my face. Everyone was getting their share. One can only eat so much mud. Now the canter was soon a full-fledged gallop. Everyone was racing for the front. Sure sounds like Elvis didn't know how to ride a horse, right? A full-fledged gallop. All the lollipop kids, and y'all know, you guys, there's probably still some lollipop kids that are peeking in here, and they're infuriated right now. I'm gonna have to talk to Derry Matera about this. June Winico, Elvis's 1956 girlfriend, is confirming Elvis indeed was riding horses and racing breakneck speed. It was like a mad day at the racetrack with 7 inexperienced jockeys going for pole position. Finally, we slowed to a walk. I hope y'all watching this at night, or when you're ready to take a nap, because this yawning is probably making you sleepy. All right, finally we slowed to a walk. Everyone, apart from the guide, was covered in mud. We were laughing at each other, and Elvis, wiping his mouth on his shirt sleeve, he started singing, "Oh, we got a barrel of money, maybe we're muddy and funny, but we're traveling along, singing a sad song," something like that, singing a song side by side. "Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money." I can see him. "Maybe we're muddy and funny." We all joined in singing the familiar tune. Oh, it's a familiar tune. I'm probably singing it wrong because I don't know the song. Once we were off the road and on the trail through the woods, the ground covered with pine straw was nice and dry. We stopped singing and started swaying to the rhythmic sound of the leather saddles. Next came Gene Autry's "Back in the Saddle Again." And finally, my favorite, reminding me of our trip to Houston, "Let the Rest of the World Go By." Well, that's pretty dang cool, isn't it? Elvis is out there singing while they're riding horses, like the movies, before he did his movies. Elvis knew what would be successful before he even started being successful when it came to that. I had sung a little harmony in school, and this song was perfect for harmonizing, June said, in the garden. But I was so intimidated by his beautiful voice, I had held back. Now, it didn't make any difference. I was singing as loud as I could. Red was singing the melody. Elvis switched to baritone and sometimes bass when he could go that low, and I was singing tenor, the only part I knew. We had quite a trio. Even Elvis was impressed. The gang applauded when we finished, and we took a little bow. "Thank you very much," Elvis said, exactly the same way he did on stage. Now, we didn't run the horses anymore. We were happy just to walk through the tall pines and sing. Elvis loved singing harmony. So do I. So little known fact about me in the musical world. I grew up in school. Well, at first I learned how to play piano from my mom. Started playing trumpet a little bit when I was 5, 6. Played it in elementary school. Played a concert. Won the talent contest with a clarinetist. We played When the Saints Go Marching In. Me on trumpet, him on clarinet. In junior high and high school, I played instruments. I played trumpet, French horn, tuba. Heck, I played the oboe for one piece during a concert because we didn't have an oboe player. I can play some saxophone. But when I played trumpet, I was all county, all state. I was selected to play for the American Musical Ambassadors Tour. But even though I played the lead stuff, I was first chair. I loved second and third chair because they were harmony parts. And growing up, besides loving Elvis, I loved the Beach Boys. I loved listening to the Beatles, but I love the Beach Boys more than the Beatles because the harmony, the thirds, the fifths, sometimes the sevenths, the flat sevenths or and I just love singing harmony. And when I got on stage, and I was singing 7 nights a week at a place called Don's American Barbecue, just me and my guitar, and I'd sing different songs like 3:30 in the morning, not a soul in sight, the thunder rolls. They're just looking like a ghost town on a moonless summer night. And I'd sing a lot of different songs. I'd do Elvis songs there. I'd sing my own songs. But somebody came and said, hey, we want you to lead our band up at Pappy and Harriet's in Pioneer Town. And so I went up there, and we had we played Friday and Saturday nights, but we had a talent night every Sunday. And every single Sunday, people would come up. And they would sit in, and they'd play, either sing because they couldn't play an instrument, or maybe there'd be a lead guitar player that'd come in and play. But whenever somebody came up and sang, I just loved backing them up. I loved singing harmony. And Harriet Allen, who was the owner of Pappy and Harriet's, and the reason why Pappy and Harriet's may sound familiar is because Paul McCartney played a show there. Heck, I met Sheryl Crow there, Eric Clapton, Dwight Yoakam. They all came up there. This was a very famous place, and I played there for 3 years as the house band, and I lived in town from the time I was 18 until 3 days before I turned 21 when I moved to Nashville. But I loved singing harmony, and I would sing harmony to Harriet when she would sing her songs, any other singers. And when I got out here, of course, my wife and I met a good 10 years after I arrived in Nashville, but I love singing harmony to my wife. So I'm a lead singer, but I really love to back other people up. And so I love reading details like this because I'm a huge Elvis fan. Y'all know that. And I know y'all are Elvis fans. And I think that if we can identify something in ourselves that's just like Elvis, it's a nice connection, right? And so I keep finding these connections, being saved by a red-headed football player, like Elvis was saved with red, and I was saved by Chris Brushaw, a red-headed kid, getting beat up. This whole thing about singing harmony. Elvis loved singing harmony. We know that. But I love reading this. All right, let's continue. Climbing down from the horses and heading back to the car, we all started to laugh. We were walking like we'd been in the saddle for at least a week. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. It hurts. We passed a fireworks stand on the way back to the villa, and Elvis made a quick U-turn. Soon, we not only had 7 people crammed in the convertible, but we had 2 giant boxes of assorted firecrackers. We dumped the boxes in the middle of the floor and divided them into 2 stacks. Then we chose sides. Soon, we had 2 teams armed, ready, and waiting for nightfall. The 18-hole golf course with wooded areas on both sides was a perfect battleground. There were only 2 rules. Number 1, you get hit, you're out. Number 2, keep a distance of at least 15 feet between you and your target so you don't kill him. She didn't say that, but I'm thinking shooting a Roman candle or something like that, somebody. We went to the hotel and planned our strategy over lunch. I had fired Roman candles before, but never at another person. I can picture the headlines now, I said, laughing. Elvis Presley's girlfriend, last seen running down the fairway at Golf Hills, her long, dark hair now a flaming red. It was all in fun, the rock and roll singer had assured her. Everyone laughed hysterically. The louder the laughter, the more vivid the picture my mind was painting. I could always take my share of Roman candles and run and hide in the woods. When Elvis reached over to take my hand, I almost jumped out of my seat. It really is just all fun, June. I promise, he said, kissing my hand, then laughing as hard as he could. Hell, we got at least 6 hours before dark, so let's go for a swim. We raced down the hill to the villa to get our swimsuits on. Last one in the pool's a rotten egg, Pat yelled, running back to the swimming pool. We left Gene, Junior, and Arthur back at the villa. They had decided that they'd rather take a little snooze, so Pat, Red, Elvis, and I had the big pool to ourselves. We played King of the Mountain with Pat on Red's shoulders and me on Elvis's. We were pretty evenly matched, but I couldn't take another scratch from Pat's hard as steel fingernails. I tried unsuccessfully to teach Elvis the basics of swimming. He did just fine as long as his face was in the water, but as soon as he lifted his head to take a breath, he went straight back to the bottom. He was happy with what little he did learn, though, and promised he would practice and be swimming as well as me by next summer. So the horseback riding thing. If you've never been on a trail road or ridden longer than 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, your inside of your thighs get really, really, really sore. So anyhow, the dreaded darkness arrived. We gathered our ammunition and headed for a secluded area of the golf course. Using matches to light the Roman candles was out of the question. Elvis handed each of us a little wood-tipped cigar. Before doing battle, we lit a few of the candles just to test their power. Sometimes you get a hold of a batch that'll blow the side of your head off, and at least seem to be working perfect, Elvis said, strictly for my benefit. We lit our cigars, grabbed a stack of Roman candles, and ran off in all 4 different directions. I tried to find a big fat tree, but where we were running was surrounded by tall, skinny pines. So there we were, running around with little cigars clenched between our teeth, shooting fireballs at each other. To say we were a strange group is putting it mildly. We did have a few close calls, almost setting the woods on fire, but thank God no one was injured. Luckily, no one called the police either. We would surely have all been arrested. The following morning, the hotel manager sent a message to Elvis. The fireworks were beautiful, but also hazardous to our golf course. See, I'm a golfer. I knew this was coming. In the future, please feel free to use our beautiful sand beach. Thank you, the management. Evidently, we weren't as secluded as we thought. Elvis sent his humble apologies and promised it wouldn't happen again. How do you suppose you knew about us? We cleaned up all the empty shells, Elvis said, wondering out loud. They knew about you because they probably had somebody living on site there. And it's just a country club. So, there was never a dull moment with Elvis around. Walking to the ski dock, I was headed for another brand new experience. I was going to learn how to water ski. While Elvis was showing off his skills, I was at the dock getting lessons from the instructor. His name was Dickie Waters. Really? Waters is a pretty cool name to be a water ski instructor. Having never been on skis before, I was a nervous wreck. After a few words of advice in the dock, however, I was ready to get in the water. I felt confident with Dickie at my side. The boat pulled away, tightening the slack in the rope, and Dickie raised his hand and yelled, "Hit it!" Before I had time to even think, I was on the top of the water and doing great. Well, we went down and around the bayou before heading back to the dock. I was proud of myself for making it the entire way without one fall. I felt like singing, well, I got a lot of living to do, whole lot of loving to do. Come on, baby. I don't know why that line made me think she's out there living. Well, I got a lot of loving to do. He's singing a lot higher than that. I really need to get back on guitar and practice and singing. Oh my goodness. Y'all singers know what I'm talking about. When you don't sing enough, it takes a while to get your voice back into sounding like you again. It's fun doing it though. You know what? And I don't know if any of y'all play guitar at all, but if you've ever thought about it, you should do it. It's not as hard as you think, at least to learn how to chord. Maybe strumming is a little weird to get all that stuff in. That takes you some time. But you can sit there and sing songs like that. I gotta get the right key for G, A, B. Let's just do it, C. Well, I got a lot of loving to do. Just play it once. Whole lot of loving to do. Come on, baby. So you don't have to do the, well, I got a lot of loving to do. Whole lot. You don't have to be an expert. You can just learn how to play guitar and just do one chord and sing the song. One chord. So don't give up on your dreams, all right? Playing guitar, playing piano, singing. If it's a love of yours, do it. Don't make excuses. Don't worry about whether you're good enough or not, right? All right. So, I was proud of myself for making it the entire way without one fall, and I had proof. My hair was still dry. Dickie, still at my side, told me to get ready to drop the rope, and we let go at the same time. We were going so fast, I thought I was going to crash into the dock for sure, and I didn't know how to stop, and I started to scream. About 10 feet from the pier, though, Dickie grabbed my arm and pulled me down. My hair was no longer dry. Now, everyone standing on the pier was clapping and yelling, "Way to go!" Everyone but Elvis, that is. Well, he was standing with his arms folded, giving me that look. Dickie apologized for not teaching me how to stop and for my hair getting wet. He told Elvis I was a natural and I would do great after a few more lessons. We don't have any time for more lessons. We have to go, Elvis said without even looking at me. He was quiet for the rest of the afternoon. All right. We had some supper at the hotel and then walked over to the hotel lounge, the Pink Pony. A small group of tourists were there, having a nightcap. We all ordered cokes and gathered around the upright piano. We usually started with a sing-along, but most people were a little reluctant to sing with Elvis. They were happy just to sit and listen. He entertained us with all of his favorites, including some boogie-woogie. We took turns playing the bongo drums, and a hush fell over the room when Elvis ended the night with a spiritual song, sung with great feeling. Now, we normally walked hand in hand, but on the way back to the villa that night, Elvis walked a few steps ahead of me. When we got there, Pat gathered her wet bathing suit and her car keys. See, it was past time for her to have her dad's car home. I grabbed my wetsuit and got my purse and went to kiss Elvis goodnight. Where do you think you're going, June? It's not even 9 o'clock yet, Elvis said. I was going to save you a trip, Elvis, without showing any emotions. I don't want you to save me a trip. I'll take you home later. Now, he said it, telling me what to do rather than asking, and he took me by the arm and walked Pat to her car, watching in silence until she was out of sight. Now that my only means of transportation was gone, he released my arm and stood silently for a few seconds. He took my hand, walked me through the villa, past the guys, and into his bedroom. Still acting a little strange, he let go of my hand and sat down on the side of the bed. I want you next to me, he said, looking up at me. Okay, Elvis, I'm here, I answered, sitting by his side. That's not what I'm talking about, June. Well, what are you talking about, Elvis? I can't read your mind. If something's bothering you, tell me. Maybe I can help. See, caring for Elvis the way that I did, my normal assertive reaction was suddenly passive, a side of me I hadn't experienced before. I don't know what to say, how to say what I'm trying to say, he began, still brooding. Well, don't worry about how you say it, June said. Just say it. Tell me what's bothering you. What's going to happen to me, June? What's going to happen to us? I keep thinking you don't care. Like you're never next to me when I need you. You're always off somewhere, talking to someone else, and I'm constantly calling you to come by. Whenever a crowd's around, you back off and you stand on the outside. I'm always looking around to see where you are. I don't want to have to look for you, June. I just want you next to me. Do you know what I'm trying to say? June said, I understand what you're saying, but you always have people crowding around you, and I don't want to crowd you too. I'm just trying to give you room to breathe. Other girls I dated are always right next to me. They act like they're proud to be with me, and if I say something, they listen. If I want to say something to you, I got to find you first. Well, I knew exactly what he was talking about, and I felt a little guilty, but it had nothing to do with my feelings for Elvis. I'd made up my mind not to compete with his fans for attention. I would back away, letting him flirt or whatever with all the pretty girls constantly trying to get close to him. I promised myself that I would never cramp his style. I knew he loved all the attention, and I wanted him to feel free to do or say anything he wanted. And even more than that, I didn't particularly care to see him smiling as he accepted a folded piece of paper with a name and a phone number of some beauty queen. Place it in his top pocket, give it a pat, and say, it's right here next to my heart, honey. Jealousy, the green-eyed monster, could eat your heart out, and I wanted no part of it. So I was living by the old cliche, what you don't know can't hurt you. I'm not like your other girlfriends, Elvis. I'm not going to hang on to your every word or hang all over you either. That's not who I am. When we first met, you said, I like you, June. You're different. But now all of a sudden you want me to change and be like everybody else. Why? I don't want you to be like everybody else, June. I just want you next to me. Not I'm talking to someone else. I want you to be mine. I'm yours, my love, June said, but I can't live in your shadow. I need room to breathe too. I'm sorry if you're not happy with the way I am, but I don't think that's the real problem. See, you've been in a bad mood ever since we left the ski dock this afternoon. Well, why don't you tell me what's really bothering you, please? Talk to me, Elvis. I love you. That's what Elvis said. Honey, when we went water skiing today, you paid more attention to the ski instructor than you did to me. I wanted you to ride in the boat while I was skiing. Well, you were too busy taking lessons, and I just wanted you to watch me ski. I was watching you ski. Every time you passed the dock, I waved. But you never even looked my way. I watched you until you were out of sight. I've never been on water skis before, and I was nervous, and I was paying close attention to Dickie so I could get everything all right. Dickie, you even know his name? Yes, I know his name, June said. He's been the ski instructor at Golf Hills for the past 2 summers. Have you ever been out with him? No, I've never been out with him. Okay, now, I know what this is all about. You're wondering just how many guys have made out with me. And when one of them will show up to brag about it, right? Well, I knew I'd hit the nail on the head when I said that, and he didn't answer. Elvis, I told you when we first met that I've been out with lots of different guys, but I've never been serious about any of them. I've been waiting for the right one to come along, and believe it or not, you're it. I love you, Elvis Presley. You better love me, June, won't he, go? You better. He pulled me down on the bed, kissed me. Stay with me here tonight, June. I'll take you home first thing in the morning. I promise, he said between kisses. I can't stay all night, Elvis. My mother would be worried. No, she won't, June. She knows you're with me. Yeah, she also knows I need to be home, June said. Okay, baby, I'll take you home in a little while. Lying in his arms, I remembered a book I had received for a graduation present, The Prophet. That's where we'll stop. Let me go and fold this page here. Got to get to the post office. My baby's waiting upstairs. We got to mail some packages off. See, she has a little clothing store on Poshmark and send some stuff out. But anyhow, hey, thanks for sharing this time with me. We're going to have some guests on. We're going to have Ruby Ians. I've got to get a date with her to come on. For the subscriber series, we're going to have Melissa back on for a second time. We're still just trying to pick a date out for that. We will have Derry Matera back on this channel. And we're going to have Billy back on this channel and some more guests. But that's what I got today. Excuse me. Y'all in my heart as well, okay? TCB TLC till next time. Have a wonderful Easter Saturday. And we'll visit more later on this evening in a comment video. And then tomorrow, before Easter, after the bunny comes, and before I do Easter lunch with my in-laws, I'll read some more from Child Bride for you. Okay, till next time.